Hello and welcome to Speedtalks, the podcast about everything tech in the financial services industry. The topic of today's episode is navigating vendor selection in financial services, 17 questions to ask your potential IT partner. I will mention 17 key questions to ask a software agency or an IT vendor or an IT partner before engaging in a meaningful partnership, because there's naturally a level of due diligence that needs to be followed in terms of choosing a potential partner, specifically in the financial services industry. This episode is designed for decision makers in mind. I want to give them value in the process of finding a partner, and I want to showcase what are some of the most important aspects they should ask about. I will explain what the questions are, what to look for in the answers, and what is the goal of asking each question. So off we go then. Let's start with question number 1. What is your experience in developing apps or portals in financial services industry? Here you should look for experience in the, let's say, banking, fintech, insurance, your sector, and understanding of domain-related requirements. Examples of similar apps they have developed. The goal here is to understand if they have solved similar problems before. You don't want them to reinvent the wheel. You don't want them to piggyback on your budget and learn on your expense. You want to tap into an aggregated pool of knowledge and insights built throughout the years of solving similar challenges to the ones you are facing at the moment. So that's the question number 1. What is your experience in dealing with the things I want you to deal with? Question number 2 then, a level deeper. Can you provide case studies or references or success stories from previous clients in my industry? You should look for detailed case studies, successful product outcomes measured in numbers with testimonials signed in name of a customer and references who speak positively about previous collaboration, problem solving skills, you name it. Ideally, if you can get in touch with a previous customer over a phone call, you don't hesitate to ask for 2 or 3 phone calls to their previous customers. The goal here is to understand whether they are credible enough, whether do they have a track record of success. Nowadays, internet you can put everything on the internet. Everyone can say they did a project with Revolut or Monzo, whatever, and put their logo on the website. But do they walk the talk in the eyes of the customers? Do customers actually confirm that they did deliver what they boast they deliver? It's all about credibility and legitimacy here. Question number 3. What is your understanding of financial domain or any domain, my domain? You should look for a partner that is not just a tech expert, but also understands your field, speaks your language, knows the slang. And if they come across a domain-specific phrase or an aspect, they won't be Googling it or searching the Wikipedia. I have seen that happen. Do their developers follow, domain-driven development approach, for example? Do they have solution architects, expert in your field? Do they provide business analysts, project managers with experience in your area? That all has to be in place, because the goal here is that you don't want any IT partner. There's no point in going for a generalist, in my opinion. You want a fintech / banking / insurance niche specific partner, not a generalist. This way, you can tap into, again, the aggregated experience in understanding your domain. It's all about understanding the what. How quickly and easily can they grasp your what that you're bringing to the table here? Question number 4. What sets your agency apart from other companies like yourself? Here, you should look for unique selling points. What makes the agency stand out and whether it actually resonates with you, whether this argumentation clicks. The goal here is that IT services can be a commodity on a red ocean, but you want to find a partner who will have unique value proposition that will be relevant to your case, not any case, your case. Perhaps it is the location. Perhaps it is case studies, success stories, technical excellence, understanding of your domain, price. What makes them different? Why should you choose them? This is the question you should ask. And if they cannot clearly explain what value are they bringing to the table, for me, it's a strong signal. Question number 5. How do you attract and retain top IT talent? Here, you should look for someone who has an ease of tapping into a vast talent pool. Someone who has a people department flexible enough to provide you with scale, like tap on, tap off. What is their attrition rate? How quickly are they able to ramp your team up? How will they make sure that your team, that on your project, there will be top talent and second to best? The goal here is that I very much believe happy employee equals happy customer. It's as simple as that. So if you ask about voluntary attrition rate, and if you hear that it's 30%, it means that perhaps they are not doing something right. It also means that in 3 years, there will be no one on your team who started the project back 3 years ago with you. So imagine just the cost of losing that knowledge. You want someone who will be able to attract and retain sufficient and relevant level of IT talent. Question number 6. What is your development process and methodology? Here you should look for someone who can come up with a well-defined process, procedures, preferably agile, which allows for flexibility, regular feedback during the development, but also a process that will be matching your need, your size of your requirement, the complexity of it, your preferred methodology. Here the goal is to see if you are a good fit in how you work. There will be no fit, for example, if your model is fixed price, preferred model for billing is fixed price, and what partner says is they do time and material only. You need to know that once they understand the what, because of the technical expertise and domain understanding, then they will know how to do it. And this how is a good fit with your how. So you have to have this alignment on how will you get there. And question number 7, even prior to that, what technologies and platforms do they specialize in terms of software development? What is the seniority level and the technical expertise level they have in place? Here you should look for proficiency in relevant technologies, not any technologies, the stack that you are working with, for example, and the experience in those technologies. You should look for people who are senior not only in years of experience, but rather in terms of approach of ownership, accountability, problem solving, challenging the status quo. Here the goal is that, you should speak the same language, basically. You want someone who will bring to the table the value in terms of technical expertise, technical excellence. Someone who your in-house developers will say, hey, they are more senior than us. We learn while working with them. And we work in the same technologies. We are a good fit, technically speaking, for this project. Question number 8. We are almost halfway through. How do you manage project timelines, and what is your process for mitigating risk? Here, you should look for someone who will be transparent on timelines, will provide realistic estimates, and a clear plan for managing potential delays. What about communication? Do they measure any KPIs, provide any dashboards you will have access to? How will you know that they are on track? How will they involve you? What kind of tools would they use? The goal here is to avoid situations when someone will tell you, hey, I can do it in a year, when you know it's clearly a work for at least 2 or 3 year timeline. You need to make sure that the delivery of your project will be of high quality and it will be predictable. That's the key word here. You want predictability of delivery. That's what you want. How will they stay on top of the risk and obstacles, which will for sure happen during the work? That's the question number 9. Can you describe a challenging situation you have worked on and how did you overcome these obstacles? Because you need to look for problem-solving skills, resilience, ability to navigate complex challenges in development, ability to foresee challenges before they occur, and how do they solve them when they come across them. And that's also related to question number 10. How do you manage communication and project transparency during development? Here you want someone who will provide you with regular updates, will use relevant project management tools like, Jira, for example, and then someone who will provide you with a dedicated project manager or account manager who will work with you around clearly defined milestones, a process that will incorporate your feedback, will involve your stakeholders, and at the same time will be flexible enough in making adjustments. The goal here is that, let's face the truth, issues will occur 100%. Any project I have ever seen, there will always be a level of issues. What you want is a partner who will raise a hand and will say, hey, Houston, we've got a problem, instead of swiping it under the carpet, so that you won't find only after past the deadlines that there's a challenge, there's a problem to overcome. So you want honesty, transparency, and open communication. Moving on to questions that are potentially more on the technical side. So question 11, how do you ensure the app's performance, reliability, and scalability? So you should look for strategies for performance optimization, load testing, architecture design that will be relevant. Here you want to find a partner who will handle the growth of your product past go live. Question number 12, how do you approach testing and quality assurance processes? Here you should look for someone who will have in place a comprehensive quality assurance and testing processes, including all of the tests that are relevant to your project being manual, automated, user acceptance, performance, load, whatever kind of quality assurance you need to verify if that is in place. You need to make sure that the project will be of relevant quality and that there is a process in place to ensure that. Question number 14. What is their approach to ensuring security and compliance with any regulations that you are dealing with, handling sensitive data, user privacy, etc.? Here you should look for familiarity with regulations such as that might be most relevant to your case. Best practices for dealing with security, clear policies on handling that issues, standards, strategies for privacy protection, GDPR, you name it. The goal here is to understand if this has to be covered on your side. Does the partner provide the same level of security standards that you are used to working with, etc.? And then question number 13, if I am not wrong, is how do you approach integration with third-party services and APIs? Here you should look for someone who will be experienced with APIs, with integrations, with middleware, with building event buses, etc. Specifically in the banking related context, that is extremely important, because usually a role of an IT partner in financial services, it often comes down to being a sort of a systems integrator. You need to understand if they can leverage third-party solutions, as usually building a large-scale fintech product or a typical fintech ecosystem or a banking ecosystem is like a puzzle, like a mosaic with puzzles. And sometimes you need to build custom connections, bridging the gaps between puzzles. Sometimes you need to leverage an existing API. How well will they, let's say, perform in that context? Question number 15. How do you estimate project cost and timelines, and what factors might affect the final budget and time estimate? And also, very important, what will be the running cost of the project when it is live? Here you should look for someone who will provide you with detailed cost breakdowns. Maybe not necessarily, to every penny, because, this has to be relevant to the level of details, adequate to the input that you're providing. But they need to provide a clear explanation of how long it may take, how much it may cost, what will impact that, clear understanding of what might lead to cost overruns, transparency of what is included, what is not included in the breakdown, details of costs of keeping the lights up after the product is live. Here, I think that the premise is that there's so much uncertainty on the market at the moment, that basically in the industry at the moment, that you want to know how much your project can take and can cost, at least in ballpark figures or ranges, with a clear explanation what will impact it and to what extent. Question 16. How will you handle project transition or takeover at the end of it? What about support, maintenance, and ongoing development past go live? Here, you should look for someone who can provide you with ongoing support once you're live. You will need someone who will help with not only keeping the lights on, but further development of your product. And also, if that is required, how well can they handle passing the project over to your team or any other team? The goal is that you don't want trouble during development, so why should you want trouble, after the development? A one-stop shop for delivery and then maintenance, change request, managing that, bug fixing and feature development. That is what you need. Question 17, that's the last one. What are your contract details? Naturally, you should discuss contract terms, including intellectual property rights, warranty periods, and post-launch support. Everything basically that's important from your perspective. Here, you should look for someone who will be aligned legally with your expectations and will be flexible enough to match your expectations. Just in case, as an EU-based firm, you don't want to deal with, for example, American courts, because the cost of handling the dispute, can kill you. And there is a number, you can come up with a long list of aspects that just need to click during the contracting process, so that it is not prolonging the whole choice, and it just provides you with a level of safety and security and alignment. And a bonus, last but not least, my biggest tip, that's actually the cultural fit. You should assess if their working style aligns with your company culture and values. Are they likable? Are they trustable? Would you feel fun working together? Would you feel like they are a partner next door? Like it's like one team almost when you're working hand in hand. Like, are you a good fit people-wise? This can be a real killer either way. So that's my highlight. All right, a quick recap. You should definitely ask about unique value proposition resonating with your case, previous experience, case studies, references, your domain understanding, and then technical expertise, the seniority of the team, project management methodologies and best practices, delivery process, and how do they make sure it is predictable. And then communication, quality, security, scalability, attracting and retaining talent, contract details, and cultural fit. I know this may sound as a long list, but what you want is a partner for years. I have seen projects falling into a disaster because someone was not asking the right questions in the first place. And I have seen projects that were extremely challenging, ending up very successful because of the best fit between both parties. So what you want is a level of diligence beforehand that will make sure that down the road things go as smooth as possible. All right, guys, in the description of this episode, you'll find a link to another podcast episode in which we discuss aspects that are worth paying attention to when choosing a partner. And naturally, if someone is currently looking for an IT partner, you know where to reach us. Thank you. That was Speed Talks, the podcast about everything tech in the financial industry. See you in the next episode. Bye.